we're all buying an insurance policy hoping that we never have to use it, right? But unfortunately, sometimes you do.
There is like a waterfall gushing into the street. And the ceiling of the living room was like on the ground. We had like insulation dangling everywhere.
How did Proper respond?
Really well. And I was shocked by it.
Without further ado, we're going to have Justin Brodin with Proper Insurance jump on stage to go over what happens when the unexpected checks in. So give Justin Brodin a big round of applause.
Thank you. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Come on, like, clap. There we go. So I'm an insurance guy. I don't get many applause, so I really got to milk it. Like, I'll take everything I can get right now. Yeah, no, stoked to be here. I gotta say, just before we even get started, all of you ladies look stunning this week. Like, absolutely stunning. I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, it's Level Up Your Listing is a short-term rental conference, but it's quickly converting into just like a elegant style conference. It truly is a masterclass. Excited to be here, excited to be back. So we've done this show, what, 3 years running now? And it's always awesome to see how receptive everyone is to learning about insurance policies. Kind of a bland topic, but I'm glad you guys enjoy it. So looking back, the last couple of years, I think the first year, how many of you were here the first year when I spoke? Okay, cool. And then how many of you were here last year? Awesome, all right. So first year we talked about Insurance 101. It was a big, long talk about everything you need to know at the depths, the bowels of insurance policies, how to understand them, what you need as an insurance host or as a short-term rental host. And then last year we did a little bit of an exercise. We looked at specific properties. We did a worksheet just to walk through like what are the risks that hosts experience that are unique to short-term rentals, just to help you guys get a better idea of what you need to insure against. And then we also looked at what policy you may currently have and how that would line up and would it cover the risk that you identified. This year, we want to do something a little bit different, and we really want to jump to the end of the insurance experience. Because when you buy an insurance policy, like we're all buying an insurance policy hoping that, what? We never have to use it, right? But unfortunately, sometimes you do. So you want to make sure that you have a policy that's going to respond, and you're really, ultimately, you're buying, what you're purchasing is a future claims experience, right? You're buying protection so that when you've got to make that call, someone's going to show up, they're going to look in the policy, they're going to say, hey, we got you covered, and they're going to pay out. So that's really what we wanted to look at and just kind of explore that a little bit, and just since it's ultimately why you buy the insurance policy to begin with. My name is Justin Brodin. I'm the CMO of Proper Insurance. Proper Insurance was founded for one thing, which was to insure short-term rentals. Why Proper exists, end-to-end protection for short-term rental owners. The reason that we exist is for a few reasons. One, standard policies aren't built for the unique risks of STRs and carry too many exclusions and limitations. So obviously, if you're trying to make sure that an asset is secure, you don't want exclusions and limitations that may limit the payout and the response for your insurance company for your specific risks. And short-term rentals are very unique. We'll talk about that a little bit. The second reason is information gaps and deceptive marketing that leave STR owners unaware of their risks and if they're unknowingly misinsured. So insurance is complicated. There's some really standard language in these policies and the policies that are generally available to you, on top of the fact that a lot of insurance companies market by basically just saying, look, it's the cheapest, buy it. It's fast, just get it, you'll be fine. Unfortunately, that doesn't help you understand what's actually in that policy. And that's what's unique about insurance, is you can always come back to the document, to the 100-page, boring as can be document, and see exactly what's covered or not covered for you and your rental in this case. So the last reason is that traditional carriers provide poor customer service and experience, especially when it comes to paying your claim. And this is something that in the insurance market has generally been the result of third-party insurance adjusters. So in the insurance world, it usually works that you contact what's called a broker. So they're a company that sells a lot of policies. They prescribe a policy that they found in the market. They give you the policy, and then they say, good luck. And then when you have a claim, you call the policy, you call the actual name on the policy, right? And then they're going to send out a third-party insurance adjuster. So someone not associated with the company to come out and adjust your property to see if you're going to actually have coverage. You can think of us like the all-inclusive resort of insurance. We're built exclusively for STRs from the ground up. We focus on, and this is from the beginning, from 2014, we focused on education first. Like first and foremost, it was education and truth in marketing. So that's easy for us to do because again, that policy, that 100-page document, it tells all. So provided that you understand how to read that, or we're able to help you read that, there's nothing hidden. Everything is there right in plain sight. We built one policy that covers property, so the structure, all the things inside, commercial level liability, so that, I mean, just think bodily injury, right? Slip and fall, a million other examples there. And business revenue. Business revenue is very unique to our policy. And it's part of what makes it a commercial homeowners policy. So what we did way back, I mean, there's only 3 policies that you can buy for a short-term rental. You can buy a homeowners policy, you can buy a landlord policy, or you can buy a commercial business policy. We identified very early that short-term rentals are unique. They're homes, they're houses. But they also have guests coming and going every week, every day sometimes, right? And you have revenue, like you have revenue to lose. You're not just a landlord, $2,000 a month that comes in every time, it's passive. It's like, it fluctuates with the seasons and you could lose 10, 20, 30 grand a month. Some of you probably more. So we built a policy specific to that, and that policy is what we call a commercial homeowners policy. Essentially, we took elements from all 3 of those policies, put them into one, and then started to build on top of that to make it the optimum policy for short-term rental hosts. And that came through years of, honestly, it was what you guys requested. It was what our clients told us. How many of you are proper insurance clients? Oh, all right. I like it. It's what our clients told us they wanted in the policy. So bed bugs and fleas and squatters and all these things we've added over time by request. And that has helped us create an end-to-end experience. So from the initial coverage review, so if you guys have a different policy, you call into proper, we'll walk you through the policy, help you understand what's covered, what's not covered, and just help you better understand your risks in general, all the way through to claim support. So we built it all in-house to say, okay, we built this policy from the ground up. From the moment you call proper, we're going to help you understand insurance, all the way to the point where you have a claim. And we'll be there to help you through that. And we handle it in-house, no third party. So all that sounds awesome, right? So we built that claims experience, and that really is what I want to talk most about here today. So what makes proper different when it comes to that claims experience? So first and foremost, what makes us different is just mindset. So most insurance companies, and granted, they're using third-party adjusters, so they don't have much to do with it, honestly. But most insurance companies, their goal, their objective, is to a degree, deny your claim. To look in the policy and find how they can deny the claim that you have. We took a different route, said, look, like, we want to approach it, it's a policy, it's policy language, we're still beholden to the language of the policy, but we want to do our best to find coverage for you in the policy. That is our goal. It makes it easier that we have the most comprehensive policy. So there's less opportunities to deny a claim when you just have more coverage. What a lot of folks don't understand about insurance policies, and this is where it comes back to the, faster, cheaper. Cheaper always comes with less coverage. It just always does. I don't care what policy you have. You show me the policy, we go through it line by line, I'll show you why it's cheaper. And all you want to make sure is that the reasons that it's cheaper aren't things that you need, right? It's like you don't need, let's say, coverage for pet, animal liability if there's no chance that a dog is ever going to enter your home, and there's no chance that your guest is going to wander off and get bit by the neighbor's dog. But there probably is, so you should probably have that. You don't need liquor liability in your policy if there's no chance that you're going to leave liquor for a guest, if there's no chance that guests are going to bring liquor, and especially if there's no chance that those guests are going to leave it behind and you're going to miss it. Because if they leave the alcohol behind, and your cleaner doesn't find it, you have unintentionally furnished that alcohol for the next guest. And if that guest is underage, you can imagine how that goes, right? But we don't need that if that's not a risk. But if it is, we want to make sure we have those things in place. Now, I won't go into all the specific coverages. We actually have a really awesome booth here. We created a little bit of an experience, a walkthrough, so you guys can go through, we call it the House of Host Horrors, and kind of see some of the coverages that are unique to proper and kind of test and see if they're covered by the policy that you have or what you understand of your policy now. So I definitely encourage you guys after all this, go check that out. It's fun. I don't know. That's a lot about claims. I can say this and that and the other, and of course I'm the CMO, so you're like, yeah, the marketing guy's got a lot to say, of course. But I'd rather just show you guys. So we have a client here today who is willing to share her experience and how to come with proper. And so yeah, really excited. Give a big round of applause to Madi Johnson. I'm gonna bring her out. Okay. Everybody loves Maddi.
Thanks, guys.
So, Maddi, how you doing?
Good. This is crazy, but good.
It's not that crazy. I think you could tell us crazier things.
That's true. What we're about to get into is a little bit crazier than this.
Perfect. Well, how's your trip been so far?
It's been great. I know that this is like supposed to be a work thing, but it feels like a trip with all of my best friends, especially second year in a row coming back. It's so cool to recognize so many faces and get to connect, and it's so fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, maybe you just start by telling us, how did you get into the STR industry? How'd you get started?
Yeah, my partner Skylar and I actually started with rental arbitrage, and I feel like a lot of people don't know that because we don't do arbitrage anymore. But it was a perfect way for us to learn the ropes of hosting and to make sure we actually liked doing it before we invested in it heavily. And after we did arbitrage, we tried a bunch of different things. We did a live-in flip and house hack in Big Bear. We worked for a nationwide short-term rental fund. We started a service where we would work with investors to find, design, renovate, and manage properties for them. And today, Skylar and I run book club. Obviously, if you haven't come to our booth,
book club.
Come check it out. But we also run our company for the love of upstate, where we partner with investors to transform historic homes into beautiful vacation rental properties.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of those do you work with?
We have 5 single-family homes. 2 of them are live. 3 of them are under construction. And then we also have a small 5-room inn and restaurant.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's mostly in New York, correct?
All in upstate New York, the Finger Lakes, and then the Catskill area.
Great area. Perfect. So maybe tell us how you found proper insurance.
Yeah. Back when we had that service where we would work with an investor to find them their own property, I had a client who asked me for a recommendation for short-term rental insurance. And we had only done our live-in flip, and for that we had normal homeowners insurance. So I had never done a short-term rental policy research. And so I Googled it, found proper, and there was a little free 3-minute quote. So I filled that out, got the quote via email, and forwarded it to our investor. And he was an older gentleman, so he had insurance policies before. And he responded, "This is so expensive. I don't know why this is so expensive, but go find me other quotes." So it's okay, I'll do a normal homeowner's insurance. And so I got him that quote, and he was like, "This is cheaper, let's go with it." And I was like, wait a second, that seems scary. I don't know a lot about this, but I feel like a cheap insurance policy isn't necessarily a great idea. So we got on a Zoom call, and we went line by line. We were like, what does this expensive one cover, and what does this cheaper one cover? And when we got to the end of it, he was like, thank God we did this, because let's go with proper. It was I'm ready to do this, let's make the investment, because it wasn't just the homeowner's insurance stuff that you were talking about, but the loss of income, the general liability, the dog bites, the bed bugs. It was so much more comprehensive.
Okay, so he was familiar with insurance then?
Yes, he was super familiar. And he's also the type that likes to save money. And so after going through this, he was like, this is not the place to save money. Gotcha.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the event. So I'll give you guys a spoiler alert. We'll just flip to the slide. Basically, this is Maddi's YouTube thumbnail.
I love it.
And yeah, maybe just still, start by telling us what happened.
Yeah, so we, again, back when we were doing properties for investors, so this was a property that I didn't own. I had found it for the investor, recommended that he purchase it, and we were responsible for renovating it, designing it, and then managing it afterwards. And I think it was like a week after he closed, I got a phone call from the town that it was in, and he was like, hey, I'm the water supervisor in this town. Your neighbor just called in and reported that there is like a waterfall gushing from like your side door down the driveway into the street. So I was like, perfect, that's great. And so I lived an hour away, so I was just like in panic mode. So I get in the car, start driving, call our handyman. I was like, this is what I know. I need you to meet me there. I was like, can I step on the water? Am I gonna get electrocuted? I just had no idea. Like I had never gone through something like this before, really. So when we got there, we walked in the side door that reportedly had the waterfall gushing out of it, and the ceiling of the living room was like on the ground. We had like insulation dangling everywhere. The floors were all warped. There were like bubbles of water in the walls. So what had happened is a pipe burst on the second floor, and it was running for so long because it was vacant. And so much water ran that it like flooded the second floor. And I think the weight of the water was so much that it ended up coming through the ceiling in the living room and then flowing out of the house. But they said it was like tens of thousands of gallons of water. Yeah. It was awful.
And how did you feel about wasting all that water?
I felt really bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, my investor has to pay for this. Like, it's not free water.
No, that was a fat bill.
Fat water bill.
But so just walk me through, like, what did that feel like? And because you're representing your clients in this case.
Yes.
And yeah, so what's going through your mind in that moment?
I was just really, really, really nervous to call him. And I had called him before I drove over. And I was like, hey, I just got this call. This is the information that I have. I'm just letting you know. But I really struggle with that, like working with investors, whether it's their own property or whether they invested in ours. Like delivering bad news is a part of that. And it's my least favorite part. So having to tell him like, hey, this property that I recommended you buy, although it was no fault of mine, like the heat was supposed to be on, like we didn't do anything to cause the pipe bursting, I did feel really responsible for it. So yeah, I was just like panicked to let him know what had happened, but he was very calm and like very understanding, and thankfully it went okay.
Well, we're glad you made it through that part. You're still here with us.
I'm still here.
So from there, I imagine you from there you got to make a call, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to call your insurance company.
Yes.
So how are you feeling about that? You put your mitts up?
Yeah, I put so I had never, I actually had submitted an insurance claim before, but not for a pipe bursting. And so the first thing I did before I made the phone call is I Googled like what to do when your pipe burst, because there's like people you're supposed to call, I guess, and you have to call the insurance company. And I ended up on like a Reddit thread, which was really bad. And it was like a whole thread of people talking about how pipes had burst in their house and like the insurance company blamed them for it. Like somehow they were able to find something where it's like, sorry, this isn't covered because of like X, Y, and Z. And like you said before I came on, the consensus of that Reddit thread, which I trusted, was that the insurance company's job was to try to not pay me. So I was like collecting all my receipts, making sure I had like every information that I could find gathered before I made the phone call, because I was just expecting to like have to like fight tooth and nail for my investor.
You're expecting a brawl, basically, at that point.
And I was ready for it. I'm like, I am going to get him his money. This is going to get fixed.
So then tell us, well, yeah, how did the call go? How did Proper respond?
Really well. And I was shocked by it. So I had a woman named Elizabeth who helped me through the entire process. And I think I got the call about the water at like 2 p.m. I think I made the insurance claim call by like 4 p.m. And by 5 p.m., so like an hour after talking to her, I had my next steps. I knew exactly what to do. I knew how to take photos, how to take videos, who to call to like start the drying process. So it was so easy, and she was so kind. And once I had all that information from her, I felt much more confident calling the investor, knowing that like we did have the problem, but the solution was also like already in motion for him to get everything fixed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what So how long did that take about? What was the turnaround on that?
From making the call to like having the
Yeah, I'm just
info?
thinking like the whole process.
Oh. It was all within the day. Like the same day that the damage happened, we had like closed out and had our next steps with Proper, which was for you guys to send an adjuster out to the property. So it was extremely quick. Like I submitted the claim through like an online platform, and then almost immediately I got a phone call, and then we were able to work out the details over the phone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
it was
then
great.
what was the outcome? What were the details?
Yes.
Give us the deets.
The details were great, thankfully. So Proper covered all of the damage. So that included fixing the plumbing, like where it had burst, fixing the ceiling, new insulation, paint, flooring, light fixtures. We didn't have any furniture in the house because he had just closed. But my understanding is that if there was furniture, that would have been covered as well. Like she had asked for like receipts for the furniture we had bought. And in addition to that, so that was over $50,000. So pretty big claim there. And then he also got over $10,000 in loss of income which I was really surprised by because the property wasn't live. Like it didn't have an Airbnb listing. We had never hosted a guest. But even though that happened, we still got the money for loss of income because it delayed our launch. And so that was really like mind-blowing to me because I think some people think they need short-term rental insurance once they start hosting guests. But for all of our properties now, we get it while we're in escrow so that we have coverage the day we close.
Gotcha. So it was calculated based on what you were expecting to make.
Yeah, we had calculated like a 3-month delay in our launch date.
Awesome. Really awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it was awesome.
So let's talk about lessons learned then. So you went through this whole process. What did the experience teach you?
Yeah, I feel like in general, I'm a very optimistic person and I rarely think bad things are going to happen, but I think it taught me that like bad things happening are kind of unavoidable. It's not a matter of if, but when. And so I think our biggest lesson is just like make sure we're protected. Like I mentioned, when we acquire a new property, it's part of our SOP to get our proper quote and get everything set up the day that we close because it's so worth the extra money for a good policy insurance because like you said, you're paying for that claims process. And after actually going through it and realizing that I don't have to fight tooth and nail to get the money for damages, it's just a no-brainer for us now.
Awesome. So if you could give one piece of advice then, after going through all you went through, what would it be?
I would say to get proper insurance. And they didn't
Come on.
they didn't pay me to say that, I promise. I have 5 of my own proper policies, so I'm an actual customer. I'm not paid to be here. But seriously, I think that is my biggest advice, especially working with investors, whether it's their property or they invested in one of our properties. I know if anything happens that I will, of course, have to let them know what happened, but I'll also be able to let them know we have great insurance and it's going to be completely covered. And I didn't touch on this before, but I think the other big thing for us too is the loss of income. Because some of our big properties in upstate New York that are on lakes will do like $40,000 like this July. And so the idea of having normal homeowners insurance and then fixing the damages, like the cost of the damages is actually really small compared to the loss of income. So the loss of income for us is just huge because we're protecting our investment, of course, but also our investors' money.
Absolutely. So how do you think it would have gone if you didn't have proper?
I think it would have gone terribly. I just can't even imagine. Skylar and I, the Big Bear house hack situation that we did, we actually had a flood there and we had normal home insurance. We had a flood and then we had a roof leak in like the same week. And both claims got denied. And I remember being on the phone with them, like actually crying. I was like, what are we going to do? And so I just can't, that was my own money. That was my own house. Of course, that was really painful, but I feel like that would be 10 times worse if that was like something I had to relay to an investor. I can't even imagine.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add or?
I don't know. I think that's all of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, round of applause for Maddi, guys.
Thanks, guys.
So glad that we could be there for you. And, going back to what I was saying earlier, like our number one priority is just to get you guys back up and renting. Like this is the only market that we operate in. We are a part of the short-term rental industry as well, and we want to see you guys prosper. So yeah, just excited that we could handle it and do a good job for you.
Yeah, me too.
So we got a few more minutes, guys. I think we have about 7 or 8 more minutes. Wanted to open it up, see if any of you guys have any questions, or for me or Maddie, feel free to step up to the mic.
So I also have proper, and we also had a water line leak. I created mold because it was hot water line.
Okay.
And immediately had a check for $16,000 for 2 weeks of lost rental income, which it was about normal. You guys went off of my last year, I think there, but it was such a great process. All the air quality testing, mold remediation, everything that my insurance agent, because he has proper, but he's like, I don't know if they'll cover this. I don't know if they'll cover this. I don't know if they'll cover this. Everything was covered. And I switched about 2 years after that to one of the other companies was a writer. And I was with them for a year. It saved me a lot of money. We have 16 properties, so it saved me $13,000 to go with that other company. A year later, they upped the rates again. I came back to proper, and I just slept better. So I think, just from a random person, I appreciate you all, and I hope I don't have another claim, and you guys were wonderful.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. Definitely swing by our booth and learn more about your risk, what you have going on in your rental, and some of the things that Proper may be able to help solve. Always call in and you give us a call. We're happy just to help. We'll do free coverage comparisons just to help you understand your policy. It isn't our intent for you to necessarily have Proper. Like, our number one goal is just for you to understand so that you can make an educated decision on the policy that you go with. Because ultimately, it's about understanding your risk and then deciding for yourself how you want to mitigate that risk. So that said, we'll close it out. So thanks so much, guys.